talk about Serenity now, and I just want to tell you that I really like this movie. You know, Josh Whedon is a great director, and Nathan Fillion. I mean, the Firefly series is one of the greatest movies or greatest television shows.
What are you talking about?
The movie Serenity.
No, we're not talking about the sequel to Fireflies. We're talking about a different Serenity.
Oh, you're talking about the one that came out in 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, then I only have two words for it. Serenity Now.
Oh,
Serenity Now!
oh God.
Yes,
Alright,
what are your opening thoughts on the movie Serenity with Matt McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, not the one with Nathan Fillion?
This is a movie.
It is a movie.
And it's really weird. This message of this movie, I just went right over my head. I keep trying to think, what, I don't even know if there is a message. There's been times where I looked up a message of a, looked up what people thought of a message of a movie. But this one, I don't feel like there is a message, or...
You know, it's funny. So, on one of the movie sites that I use, they try to explain the ending. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I missed something. And then I read the ending of the movie, and it explained, and it's exactly what I thought it was. It still doesn't make any sense. I walked out of that theater with one question. What did I just watch? I don't get what I watched. I don't get the purpose. I don't get anything of what was on that screen for 2 bloody hours.
I think we were supposed to, feel for the... Well, we'll get into it, but I think we were supposed to feel for the character, for the boy. But
Maybe? Did you feel for the boy?
No, because we never seen him. You don't see him talk or anything. You just hear the situation.
You know, Haroon asked me what this movie was about. And do you know how I answered him?
What?
I have no idea. It's about a son that wants to kill his stepdad. That's what I thought the movie was about. Yeah. Am I missing something?
No, that's exactly what the movie is about.
You know, I'm also trying to figure out the genre of this movie because I was initially thinking it might be a psychological thriller. Were you getting that when you were watching it?
Yeah, I was getting that feel. That's what the trailer had a vibe like that too, right? I'm like, ooh, interesting, because everybody knows everybody's business. I'm like, oh, what's gonna get Dizzy kill someone, and then maybe he's paranoid that he didn't get away with it and stuff like that.
Watching the movie, I thought they were really going for a film noir though. Initially, I'm like, oh, psychological thriller. They're playing with our minds. They're gonna screw with us, and then I'm like, it's very film noir. There's this. You remember the scene where Anne Hathaway in the rain walks up to the boat and she's got the 1930s or 40s hat on and the jacket covering everything, and she kind of walks into the light. That's very film noir.
Yeah, that is.
And it comes right into his office, which is on the boat.
Mm-hmm. And then they have that discussion.
Oh, I need some help, Mr. Detective. Can you help me?
And he even had a cigarette. Wasn't he had a cigarette?
He did. 100% had a cigarette. It was very film noir. That scene is right out of a film noir movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really trying to... I was getting these elements. And then when I was watching it, I was trying to figure out what it was trying to do. Because immediately in this movie, we're getting this idea that Matt McConaughey's character, Baker Dill, he has this connection with his son, who's not around. It's like he can read his son's thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, maybe this is a little bit like The Matrix, where his son has programmed him into this world, and then as the movie went on, programmed the mom and the dad into the world too.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, maybe it's Shutter Island, where he's crazy.
See, I was like, maybe this is like Shutter Island, where the guy's just going insane, or like a Black Mirror, where he's just like, am I in a game or not? Or, starting to think that. Or I thought maybe this was the whole thing was a video game the whole time. And I was hoping it wasn't going that route, because if it went that route, I'm like, this cannot end well if it keeps going this route. Versus the more, like I said, I feel like it should have ended where he was actually crazy.
I think
this was all in his mind the whole time.
And then, so when the movie ended, that's where I kind of figured this movie was. I feel like they were trying to make a Christopher Nolan movie. I feel like this is a Christian.
Oh,
This is Interstellar. This is Inception. That's what they were trying to do.
Oh man, if that
or M Night Shyamalan, right? Like this is there's supposed to be a twist here. The problem is there was no twist. Like midway through the movie, I think we all at least myself and the two people I was watching with, you and Giovanna, both of were like the same thing, whispering in each other's ears. This is a game. And then sure enough, it was pretty clear. And then we find out that, hey, it actually is a game. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh.
And they told him it was a game. And then...
Yeah. Like, then almost right after we have this conversation and we're whispering to each other, we have one of the characters, Reed Miller, who's wearing a suit the entire time and trying to talk to Baker. But Baker keeps missing Baker. And he comes in and says, I know you have a big day tomorrow. You're going to kill someone. But I just want to let you know no one kills someone. I'm the rules. Oh. And then he's like, this is actually a game. And then you have their side quests and their rules. And then your side quest is you have to catch this fish. And then there's also a side game where like you have to catch the cat. And explain all these side quests. And you're like, oh, so it actually is a game. And then the person running the game is the son of of Baker. Mm-hmm. And we find out that Baker, his ex-wife, is now in an abusive relationship with a guy named Frank, and the ex-wife has now offered to pay Baker $10 million to kill Frank at sea.
Yeah, I don't know where this wife has $10 million.
Because he's supposed to be connected and rich. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand, like... Well, I'll explain what I don't understand in a second. Mm-hmm. So anyways, he decides he's going to do it. But the problem is, everyone in the town knows that he's going to kill this person, and they're all saying, don't do it, just find your fish. Mm-hmm. And then Baker's like, okay, well now I know this is a game, and no one else knows that no one else knows that it is a game, so I'm just going to break all the rules. And then he decides to kill, and he does actually kill Frank. And at the same time, his son Patrick in the real world kills his stepdad.
To defend his mother.
To defend his mom. Second degree murder, but he's found not guilty and put in mom's custody. But this is what I don't understand. What's the point of the movie? What was the point of the game?
I think the point of the movie is abusive relationships are bad.
But but we don't actually see the abusive relationship.
Well, we do see it. It was represented in the game.
Where?
When he took, Anne Hathaway got naked and he started hitting her with the belt. They kept talking about it.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you because I thought that too. But later on in the movie where I thought they were going to give this twist, I thought that Anne Hathaway was going to become the villain or Karen was going to become the villain. Because remember when his hand breaks? She grabs his hand and says, strangle me. Mm-hmm. Well, is that? Maybe I thought maybe they were trying to give us this idea, this twist that he was not the abusive one, she was, and she was asking for. I don't know. I don't understand what was going on. But okay, abusive relationships bad. Fair enough. I'm with you. I'm on board. But what's the point of the game?
I guess this is why I started laughing when you said it was a Christopher Nolan film, because I thought maybe they were trying to use it as like this huge metaphor of the child's life. I think the character Baker does a mixture of his father and himself, like a little bit of him and himself, and he just spends hours because we get it with the fact that he's a genius, right? And then
the kid wrote this game. The kid Patrick, he wrote we see him anytime we see him in the movie, he's typing away at his computer screen writing code for this game.
Yeah. This is the worst game ever though.
It's literally about his dad. He writes a game about his dad being obsessed with catching a fish.
Yeah. And the fish is called Justice.
Yes. And then Justice kills Frank. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, another thing I thought was really weird was like I didn't know where they were going because they're telling him not to.
Shouldn't Frank have caught Justice?
Oh, to catch Justice. Oh, nice metaphor. No, Justice
catches
Justice
Frank.
Justice came for Frank.
Justice, yeah, okay. Okay, fair enough. I guess.
Yeah, he named the fish Justice, and then they kept saying, "Don't do it, catch your fish." But the fish was Justice, and Justice was coming for Frank.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's Christopher Nolan, bro. Classic Christopher
No,
Nolan.
Christopher Nolan movies make sense. They make you think, and you might need to watch them once or twice, but they make sense. There's messages there. They're brilliance. This movie makes no sense. And again, so he's a computer character created by Patrick. And a computer character must do what the programmer says he must do.
Yeah, unless there's a virus or it's coded to be that way.
But he makes his own decisions in this movie.
Yeah, which I
That means that's AI. That's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and if he's making artificial intelligence at that age, he's probably should be working for MIT.
But it's not actually artificial intelligence, because this is what I don't understand, right? Is he's writing his father to kill Frank, but then he's writing all the other characters in this island of Plymouth to tell him not to kill Frank. And the rules, the guy who plays the rules is like, you can't do this. The rules say you can't. But isn't the creator the rules? Isn't Patrick the rules? Now, I will say this. I am not technologically advanced. So maybe if someone who's computer savvy would explain this to me, maybe I would understand it more. But I like to think I'm pretty knowledgeable on movies. Like, I can put a script together or a plot together or a message together as I watch the movie. I have no idea what I watched.
Yeah. I don't either. I was still trying to figure out, I'm like, oh, what's this one big mystery? And then it never really explained clearly what the mystery was.
And I went back and I read about it. I'm like, okay, maybe I missed something. So I went on some sites, tried to explain the ending to me, and I'm like, that's exactly what I know. Well, but you didn't tell me, you didn't explain it to me. Like, you didn't explain the questions I have. I have so many questions. You just explained to me what I saw, and I know what I saw because I watched it.
I don't think anyone really knows what this movie means.
You know, it's funny. Like, this movie bombed at the box office. This is Anne Hathaway's worst movie of her career in terms of like opening weekend. Oh. And she's like one of her, when she was asked about like the negative reviews this movie's getting, she answered that question by saying like, well, you know, some people got what we were trying to do. It's a shame that not everyone did. And I'm like, well, can you explain to me what you're trying to do? Like, if you explain to me, maybe I can see it. Like, I'm gonna get, like, I thought one positive I'll say about this movie is I like the acting all around.
Yeah, the acting was
all
great.
around. The question I have is I don't understand how these actors kept straight faces reading the dialogues that they were reading.
Because they're actors. They know how to act.
Yeah, apparently. And these are good actors. Like, we're talking Academy Award winning actors in this movie.
There's a lot of nominated ones, right? We got Anne Hathaway, we got McConaughey, and what's his face?
Jason Clarke, who I really like. Jason Clarke.
Yeah, Jason Clarke's really... I kind of realized, I'm like, I actually really like this guy as an actor.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Like, every time I see him, like, he's always good.
Oh, yeah, he's great. And he was great in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
He was great as like this dick of a person. Like when he catches the shark, there are funny sequences in this movie. But the problem is the movie's not about the movie. Like, nothing that happens on this island of Plymouth has any relation to the plot of what's actually going on.
Yeah, they didn't really show. The problem is they didn't show too much of what was going on in the real world to like really make sense of everything. Yeah.
So I guess is there a twist in this movie, or was there actually a twist? Do you think there was a twist? I don't care if they were trying to get it. If a twist is so obvious that it's...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Maybe I think the twist was that it was a game the whole time.
Do you think it was, or was it not very obvious from the beginning that it was?
Yeah, that's the thing. I thought, because I think for me it was super obvious that it was a game. Like, maybe for, like, when you see that one sequence where he's just touching with the puddle and then he's moving with the puddle, then it's like, okay, this is a game, or they have, like, some sort of mind-linked thing going on.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Matrix, maybe?
Yeah. Right? But...
Like, I was waiting for a twist.
Yeah, and there was no twist.
But there wasn't, because the twist that they were going with doesn't make sense, because again, this is probably the 8th time I've said it, and I apologize for saying it again, and I promise this will be the last time, but it doesn't make sense that the fact that Baker kills Frank in this fictional world, this game, has any relationship, or anything that happens in this game has any relationship on the real world. There's no closure in the game.
No. He just does what he does, and then he just disappears.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, Xavier, give me a ranking. I'm done. Is there anything else you want to talk about on this movie?
No.
I gave comments to the acting. I thought, like, the stuff that happened in Plymouth was interesting. The problem was the real world. The fact that they were trying to make a twist made it worse. It would have been. This movie would have been. I think this movie could have been a 7 or 8.
If it wasn't for
if you just
real world
made this
twist.
Plymouth and made it like a different kind of like element to it, like a different twist that wasn't.
Yeah, like maybe Anne Hathaway was the one abusing the whole time, or.
Yeah, or maybe like the reason why McConaughey was there was different. I don't know.
Or like the town was like it was a social experiment. The whole town was in on like a social experiment.
Well,
actually, that'd be too crazy. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, but something along those lines, like the where the Plymouth story actually makes sense.
Yeah. Or
maybe like you make it like a Black Mirror where his consciousness was thrown into this world. I don't know. Whatever. All right, what's your rating?
I'm gonna give this 4 out of 10.
That's generous. I'm gonna go 3. The acting was not good enough to save me from a movie that I don't understand. If you ask me to explain a movie and I can't explain it you can give me 20 sentences, I still can't explain it. I can't give you a high mark. 3 out of 10 for me.